Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mina Alipour, and my project is about adapting user interfaces to users and their environment in a natural risk program. I work in a laboratory, and I work with Professor Sophie Dupuy-Chessa and Dr. Ellen Jungmans and Dr. Eric Kech. So we'll start by the objectives of my research. So as my research is interdisciplinary research, I have outlined my research objectives into categories. The first category is in human-computer interactions. So, and the second one would be in marketing. So in human-computer interactions, the emotional reaction to on-screen objects would create a context to do adaptation. For example, when we see a pop-up in our web crawling, it can trigger fear. And if, for example, when we are using our computers, we see a small icon in the system interface that we are using, it can trigger anger or frustration. So in order to properly respond to the user interface, the user's emotions are being studied in human-computer interaction. So our first objective is that we want to understand which emotion should the interface design address to improve citizens' preparedness in a natural risk program. And then in the second step, we want to know how does emotion play out in a computer mediated communication for individual preparedness. For example, as we all know, every single person, they experience different intensity in their emotion when they face the same situation. So the use of this emotion to have a personalized adaptation for each person would be something that we are interested in. The next objective of my research is in the marketing scope. So in the marketing scope, we are looking into more how the individual's decision making can affect their preparedness. So we want to model their decision-making process, the emotion reactions they have in natural risk incidents. And then in the end, after reaching these two objectives, we want to apply these findings on a serious game interface to help people improve their preparedness by adapting the interface to their emotion based on the serious game concept. So for starting to know how we went through these problems and objectives, first of all, we have to know what are the approaches. So for the marketing, first of all, I started with getting to know how the affective forecasting works and how it can affect the decision-making between the individuals. So first of all, what is affective forecasting? Literally, it means that affective forecasting means the people's prediction about their future feelings. For example, when we are watching a game and we always want our team to win that game. The point is that we always predict our emotion. For example, we say, oh, I would be very happy if my team wins, or I would be very sad if my team would lose. Or the other point that we will consider is that, I would have a great head, I would feel good, and then if my team loses, then I wouldn't feel good. So the point here is that people are usually correct about the valence of their emotion. They are correct if they are going to be happy, if they are going to be sad, but they are usually not correct about the duration of their emotion and the intensity of their emotion. So this bias in the intensity and the duration of the emotion makes the impact bias. This is something that we are interested in a marketing approach. And the second one, in the human-computer interaction, we are looking into the different emotion detections methods. So we can detect emotions in using different sensors on body. We can detect emotion using text. We can detect emotion using the facial recognitions. So this is the next point that we are going to do. And after that, we want to know how we are adapting our user interfaces to emotions. So this could be something really personal for each person. And then after that, we are going to see about the interface design in the serious game. So the first study we did was on the marketing scope. We ran 3 experiments and we followed the steps as you can see in this slide. So first of all, we had different participants from different labs in Grenoble and in Lyon. And we asked participants to answer a questionnaire. Each participant were assigned to a role randomly. So we had 2 main roles of experiencers and forecasters. What was the difference? The experiencers were the people who, so we had 2 visual stimuli. And the first one was an image of a flood in Paris, and the second one was a video of flood simulation in Paris. So the experience were the people that they actually start the questionnaire by watching this this video, and then they answered a questionnaire about how they had how they felt when they saw this video. And then the forecasters were the people who were first exposed to an image of a flood, and we asked them to express their feelings in their questionnaire, and after that they could watch the video. Both groups were being recorded during the during watching the video and the whole experiment. And then after that, we did an emotional analysis based on Ekman basics emotion. So we defined 6 basic emotion and neutral, and then we analyzed the emotion between the participants and how they were prepared. So before seeing the results, I want to give you a definition here. We also measured the locus of control between the participants. So the locus of control refers to the people's ability that they believe that they have a power on the outcome of their actions. So the result that we had shows that shows that the forecasters faced more intense emotional reactions than experiencer. So it was the people who were forecasting their emotions, who were just seeing an image and stimuli, and then they were saying, okay, I feel scared, or I feel confident that I can cope with this problem. So the results show that the negative emotion has a mediation role between the role of the participants and their preparedness. So people, forecasters with more negative emotion had more, how can I say it? They had more, they wanted to be more prepared. And then the people with the higher locus of control also were more, it leads to more high impact bias and higher level of preparedness. So the people with the higher locus of control, they would think that they have a control on the outcome of their actions. So when they have when they are experiencing a negative emotion, a higher negative emotions, they can be responsible for what is going to happen to them. For example, in an incident, or in a natural hazard incident. So then we started working on human-computer interactions. Human-computer interaction scope, and we started by doing a literature review on emotion-based user interface adaptation. So the first question is that how endangered people perceive the disaster's risk, and what is the impact on their preparedness? What sort of emotions and biases are happening when a person is perceiving a risk is going to happen to them, and how it can affect their preparedness. And then what channels and methods can be used for helping people to improve their risk perception, and how emotional state and emotional adaptation in human-computer interaction can help the risk perception between the citizens. So we started by doing an emotion detection literature review to see to find out about different kinds of sensors that can be used, and how they can improve the bias between the people, or it can decrease the bias. So how can we talk about this? For example, we can detect emotions by using a heart rate, using sensors on the body. We can also put sensors on all participants' body and track their movement. So the method that we chose to use was using the facial expression. So these methods are all implicit, and it's difficult to get to know the implicit emotion that person is showing. But the point about using facial expression is that it's not making any disturbance when the person is playing a game or they are interacting with the web page or something. And then we are looking into the different emotion detection tools, as I told you. And for our applications, we studied different kinds of serious game design framework, and how we can do emotion detection in serious games. So for our application on Serious Game, we used Vigiflood Serious Game from Carol, as Julie talked about it in the last presentation, so I'm not going to touch more about it. So as you can see, the interface is more text-based. So what we are going to do is that we are going to change the stimuli for the users, so it can be more engaging and helping people to better understand the risk. So as the goal of the game is to change the perspective of the player into a decision maker, the studies show that the stimuli helps people to better understand. So we can use the text as a stimuli, we can use an image or a video or a 3D display for helping people to better understand their risk. So the other point that we are going to do is to do the adaptation in this interface. So we are going to do adaptation both on the static characteristics of the users, for example, their age, their gender, if, for example, if they are using glasses or not, and also their dynamic data, like their runtime emotional intensity.
Mina, 2 minutes left.
Oh.
2 or 3 minutes maybe.
Okay, so for our serious game, we applied a framework, and in order to get a better interface design, we started using serious game design assessment framework, and we used the graphic part as our focus of our work. So in this part, we are looking more into the usability. So the usability is more talking about the guidance, the workload of the game, and is it adaptable or not, or also we talk about the error management. So there is a contraction between the usability in HCI and in serious game design. And the point is that in HCI, we are trying to minimize the errors that a user can occur to a user. But in a serious game, we are going to manage that because we are trying to challenge the user. So for the serious game design, we defined different types of stimuli. We defined a 3D stimuli for the serious game, and for the adaptation, we are going to do the adaptation based on the user's emotion. Based on the user's emotion in between the videos and also the background color, because they happen to affect the user's emotions and also their understanding of the context. So I'm going to just talk about this. We are going to define different action units for each emotions, and then based on the target of the serious game, the Vigiflood serious game, we define different types of emotion that can affect the user's risk perception.